Hello and welcome to week 2 of The Useless Chef. You thought you had enough of me after week 1? No, I'm back. I'm back for another week of some, hopefully some good cooking and some entertaining show. I don't know. We're back anyway. I thoroughly enjoyed last week. It was good fun. A few editing issues, but nonetheless, it's gone and we're getting plenty of views. So thank you so much. Again, keep spreading the word. Keep spreading the word out that there's this idiot who's cooking and like easy recipes for people to do while we're here stuck in sort of self-isolation, if you will. Now, there has been some developments over the weekend, and I can tell you that my number one fan, yes, it's the wifey, has she's got me a little present for The Useless Chef. So without further ado, I think it's time to introduce you to my new pinny. Oh yes. Now, I just want to let you know that this was actually a picture of my body that she has had, you know, put onto an apron. So thank you for that, wifey. I do love seeing my own body. The nipples are almost in the same place. Yeah. So yes, the new pinny is here, and this is what we're going to be sporting. I don't have to wear her pink hearts pinny. I've got my own one now, so I feel like a real chef. Anyway, without further ado, today we're going to do Thai pork stir fry. It's one of our favourites. It's been a favourite for a couple of years in this household. We picked up the recipe a couple of years ago. We've added a few things ourselves, done a few things differently, and it's stuck. So that's what I'm going to be giving you today. Later on in the week, we've got prawn noodles coming up for you. That'll be fun because I don't particularly like prawns, but my wifey loves prawns. So I cook it for her for her lunches, and she loves it. So we'll do one of those. And at the end of the week, we'll do a really simple, easy breakfast with playing around with some poached eggs and some holiday sauce, hopefully. So that's the week ahead. But for today, like I said, it's a family favourite in this house. It's Thai pork stir fry. Not very easy to say quickly, well, not for me anyway. So enjoy the pinny. Enjoy the episode. Let me know how we get on. And also, just before I leave you, I want to see pictures. So I know some of you know who you are cooking these meals, and I want to see pictures. Put them on my Facebook, and we'll plug them in. And some of them, the better ones, the best ones, will make it on to the end of the show potentially. But like I said, I need some more, so send them my way. Thank you very much. Okay, your ingredients for today's stir fry. You're going to need to get yourself some pork mince, exactly the same as beef mince, but it's not beef, it's pork. So the stuff I have here is 5% British pork mince, 5% fat, sorry. You're also going to need to put in with those, you're going to have to put some green beans in, or fine beans as the co-op calls them. We're going to chop these up in a minute and put them in the pan to start with. Also added in a bit later on, we're going to add some sort of salady veg. We've got 3 spring onions that we're going to chop up and put in. We've got a shallot, fresh shallot that we're going to put in. And also, you can put, we like to put garlic and red chilli in to give it a little bit of flavour. But you can get a garlic clove and have one of them crushery thingies that you crush cloves with, or you can do what we do and buy products called Very Lazy. Now they're called Very Lazy because they are very lazy. Basically that's chopped garlic in there, and a spoonful of that is exactly the same as a clove of garlic. So we use that, and we've also got Very Lazy chopped red chilies. And again, about a spoonful of that is a full chilli. So I put in about half a chilli, so half a spoon of that and a spoon of garlic. So that's the flavourings done. And then what we're going to do is, once we're sort of at the end of the cooking, we're going to put some sauce in it. We're going to put some soy sauce, dark soy sauce, but also this magical soy sauce called ketjap manis. Now, some of you probably won't have heard of this. It's basically, it's a sweet and thick soy sauce. But it's really, really tasty, and this dish without it is pretty bland. That makes this dish perfect. So if you can find some of that, we only find it in M&S, but they do sell it in Tesco's. Apparently, it's on their website, but I've never found it in store. So if you get a Tesco's online, get one of those. That's really good stuff, ketjap mayonnaise. Now, as for utensils, and I understand when we did the pasta last week, I did call them condiments for some reasons because I had mayonnaise in my head, I'm sure. The utensils that we're going to use, obviously a sharp knife to cut the beans, the pork, and the veg. So maybe get a couple of sharp knives, one for the meat, one for the veg. A spoony, what do I call it? A spoony spatula thingy. I have one of them. That's going to stir everything together in the pan. We're going to have a wok or a frying pan. If you haven't got a wok, use a frying pan. Same thing really. Just a wok makes it more Asian. And a bowl. A bowl. This is what you're going to put your fine beans in because you're going to do them first. And the only other thing missing is rice. Now, again, with the pasta, this is worth about 500-600 quid. This bowl of rice, this container of rice. So we're gonna use it sparingly. No, we're not. I'm joking. Just plain basmati rice. You're gonna need that as well. And now we use one of these wonderful contraptions, which is a rice cooker. It goes in the microwave. So you put a certain amount of rice in, a certain amount of water, stick it in the microwave, and done. You don't have to worry about rice. Now, I understand a lot of you probably don't have a rice cooker, so what you can use is a saucepan, and that would be the first thing you do. Stick a saucepan on the heat, get it up to boil, put your desired amount of rice in, and make sure it's well covered with the water, and let it boil. Let the rice boil for 10 to 12 minutes. Let it absorb all that water, and then take it off, leave the lid on the saucepan, and just leave it to one side until everything's done. Your rice will be done that way. That's the sort of the standard way of doing rice in the saucepan. But if you haven't got one of these, grab one because they're lifesavers. I mean, we use this pretty much every day with rice. We have a lot of rice, and this saves a lot of time and a lot of hassle and a lot of worry. Literally stick it in, don't worry about it. So I recommend getting one of those if you haven't got one already. But no, that is it. Pretty happy with that. That's everything we're going to need for this one. So let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, want to put the rice on because the rice is going to take around about 15 minutes. But if it's done way before we're done, then you just leave it in the container or leave it in the saucepan with the lid on, and just leave it because it will stay. A, it will stay hot, and B, it will continue cooking, which is never a bad thing for rice. So you just want to obviously check on it once it's done, but that will stay hot. So the first thing to do is the rice. So what I do, a good indication is I get these teaspoony thingies, measuring thingies that my wife had, and 1 tablespoon is this big apparently, and what we find, and I do eat a lot, but 7 tablespoons of rice is more than enough for 1 portion. So I'm making this for 2, me and the wife eat. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go all the way to 14 for the purposes of the tape. I'm not going to count them out for you. So 14 in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some water in it. I'm going to cover the rice. So take this out, and what I'm going to do is once I've got all my rice in there, I'm going to rinse it through with water just to give it a quick wash. Put it back in the tub, fill the tub back up so the water's probably ½ inch over the line of the rice. Once it's shaken down nice and level, ½ inch over the rice, and then I'm going to put the lid back on, stick it in the microwave for 15 minutes. So that is the rice then completely done. So measure out how much you want. Like I said, I use 7 tablespoons per serving. We're doing 2 servings, so 7 tablespoons, so 14 tablespoons altogether in the pot. Level it out, wash it out, level it out, put water in, ½ inch above the rice line, lid on, microwave, 15 minutes. Okay, so the next thing to do once the rice is on and is cooking, whether it's on the saucepan or whether it's in the microwave, the next thing to do is to trim the beans. So these runner beans, dwarf beans, whatever you want to call them, from the co-op have already been kind of cut, sliced. But I just want to take these tops off, so I'm just going to get in there and just whip the tops off. Any ones that I see, just spread them out a little bit and just keep trimming the tops off. Those long ends. Okay, that's pretty much all of them. There's a couple of strays. Okie dokie. So once that's all done, put them to one side off the board. And then all you're going to do is then gather the beans back up. Cut them in half. Doesn't have to be exact, but chopped at least. So now they're done, all I'm going to do is put a splash of oil, not the cap, because again, plastic probably doesn't taste the best with these. And I'm going to put this middle unit onto a medium heat. High, low, medium. I'm going to let that oil heat up for a moment or two, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these beans directly into the pan. They're going to crackle a little bit. I'm going to give them a quick stir and a quick whippy-roo with the with the pan. I don't know what that's called. Someone tell me. Someone needs to tell me when I put these videos up. Someone needs to put some technical terms for me, because a whippy-roo is. I'm going to make it official. A whippy-roo is a wrist action with a frying pan. A whippy-roo. So, Gerard, you'd love this, don't you? Anyway, the beans are going to go in the wok. When this oil is nice and hot, it's already getting hot. And then once I've done this, we're going to get the pork out and start cutting the pork up. Sorry, no, before we do the pork, we're going to do cut the other veg up while these are cooking. So, put these in. Give them a whippy-roo. So they're all covered nicely. Spoon spatula thingy. Again, you're just getting all the oil to go around the beans. Right, while they're on, spoon spatula holder. Okay, we're going to grab the spring onions, knob the tops off. No one wants the tops or the bottoms. I never know how much to cut off of these. Is that too much? Someone tell me. I seem like I'm wasting a lot of spring onion there, but I always think the leafy part is not so nice. So I'm just going to cut these nice and skinny. Don't take the mickey out of my cutting. I can't do this thing that the pros do. I'm not that level yet. I need to level up a little bit. So I can go fairly quick. Look, I'm picking up steam now. But this is where I like chop my finger off. It's been done before. Ask the wifey. Sometimes you just need to do it at your own pace. And one day I'll learn how to sort of kung fu chop suey. Right. You can hear these sizzling away nicely. Again, just got to make sure these don't burn, because once they start going, they'll go. Spoon holder thingy. Right. Same for the shallot here. Trying to go as quick as I can so I don't bore you. It's a lot of wasted shallot, I'm sure, but you don't need a heck of a lot. So again, cut it in half, cut it in quarters, and then just as skinny as you possibly can. Make sure your eyes water, these shallots do. Okay, So the beans are about halfway cooked now already. Doesn't take long for them to go. So you need to make sure you see they're starting to go brown already, sort of on the outside. You don't want them to burn, they'll burn quick, so it's just a matter of keep stirring and going back to cut. Alright, give it one of these. Oh, I'm really not a professional chef, am I? Okay. So, spring onion and shallot. Done, ready to go. We need the garlic and the chilli next. So this is where these come in super handy, because like I said on the ingredients bit there, it's just about getting... I'm nearly out. I've been trying to find this everywhere in the supermarket, but in this day and age with this lockdown, not happening. Everyone's eating garlic, it would seem, or everyone's not being so lazy. Everyone's being lazy. Okay, and then half a spoon of chilli. Ah. Chilli all over the kitchen floor. Right. So those are your 4 veg if you want. They're going to go in right at the end with the beef to give it a nice flavour. So these beans are really nearly done now. They're going to be another sort of minute. Excuse me. And what we're going to do once these beans are done, I'm just going to transfer them into a bowl. I'll probably put some tin foil over the top just to keep them. You don't need, no, you don't even need to. Ignore that. I'm not going to put tin foil over because you don't need to keep them warm, because they're going to go back in the pan at the end. So just literally grab a bowl, and once they're done, once they're soft, once they're cooked, which they are very nearly done now, I'm just going to stick them in this bowl and stick them out of the way right until the very end. And once they're done, we'll put this all to one side and we'll start with the pork mince. Okay, so I've cooked the beans and I've put them in the bowl. And now it's time for the pork mince. So what I tend to do is, I don't know whether I'm normal by doing this or whether it's not normal, but I turn the pork over in the pot, whatever, and take that papery thingy out, put that in the bin, and then what I do is I cut the pork while it's in its container, just because I find it easier to cut it before it goes in the pan than it is once it's in the pan. Now, the wife here will tell you, just cut it up when it's in the pan. I find it easier to do this, to be honest. And just sort of chop it up, mince it, because it's mince, hey! And then, now I've turned the heat off just for the purposes of the tape, but what you'd do is, oh, that's the wrong one. You'd leave the heat on from the beans, put it on a sort of low to medium, and then put the pork straight in. The spoony thing hasn't touched any other meat, so you're good. And just carry on, you know, where you left up. It's already chopped up nicely. Let me move this camera. It's already chopped up nicely, ready to go. So I've just saved myself a job, really. I'm still going to have to do it a little bit, but there we go. So all we're going to do now is, just like you would with beef mince, you're just going to brown it. It's going to take a few minutes. Maybe put a couple of splashes of fry light into there. And just let that fry. And then, as you can see, it's already starting to turn a whitish colour. You're going to wait until that goes to like a whitey browny colour. Not red, pink. I'm going to wait for it to cook. Just keep stirring it every sort of 30 seconds or so it doesn't burn. And that's it for this step really, just cooking the pork mince. Okay, as you can see, the mince is now turned a sort of a grey brown colour. You can start to see, if you can see up close, I don't know how you can see in that camera, but it's starting to go sort of brown, where it's sort of cooked on the outside. But the important thing is it's no longer pink. There's no pink bits around, which is a good indication that that mince is pretty much nearly there when it comes to cooking. There's no raw meat in there anymore. So when we get to this stage and it's sort of nicely brown, and you'll notice it's not as dark as if you ever had beef mince. Beef mince is a lot darker. It's a lighter shade of brown, but no longer pink. So next thing to do is you've got to take all your lovely veg that you've chopped up, and you're literally just going to pile it in. No particular order. It's all going to go in. Chili, a little bit of a mix up. So now this veg is in, you're just going to again give it a good mix around, because obviously that chili in there, if you get a clump of it, it's going to be right spicy. So just give it a nice even mix around. And again, you're just going to really leave this to cook now on there for sort of 2 to 3 minutes, occasionally turning. So every 30 seconds I'm just going to come and give it a stir, move around like this just to keep it nice and even. And you're going to leave that for the next 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, now the veg has been in, like I said, for 2 or 3 minutes since I last was on here, and it's just basically just softened up this veg, softened the spring onions up, and whatever you put in there, it's nice and mixed now. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to return these beans that we cooked earlier, we're going to return them back into the mix, back in the mixer, and again just stir them in nice and evenly. Set them up. Now what we need to do now is add the soy sauces, both the ketchup mayonnaise and the dark soy. So I'm going to bring my old favourite back, the measuring spoons, and we're going to get 2 tablespoons of dark soy to 4 tablespoons of ketchup mayonnaise. That's what we're going to do. So 1 soy, 2 soy. Give that a stir around so it's nice and even. And 4 ketchup mayonnaise. You see, it's just a thicker soy sauce, that's all it is. It's not gloopy, it's just thicker, sweeter soy sauce. 3, 4. Oh, it smells lovely. Okay. And again, we're just going to mix that all together now. Mix it all in. Oh, mate, the smell is fantastic. Oh, I can't wait for this. Now all we're going to do is, like we did with the veg, we're just going to let that cook in the soy sauce now for for 2 or 3 minutes, but we're pretty much there now. It's all done. The pork's cooked, the veg is all cooked. We're just letting it marinate and letting it cook in that soy in the pan just for a couple of minutes, and then we're done. By this time, the rice is nearly done. It's got another minute left on it, so once the rice is done, we'll fluff that up with a fork and we'll get cracking. Okay, so the rice is just finished. Again, that was just another couple of minutes after I last left you, so I've just carried on stirring this. Went and got the rice. There we have it. So all I did was just drain the excess water out of the bottom of this one, and all I'm going to do is just put a fork through it just to fluff it up a little bit. Make sure there's no excess water in there. Make sure it's all cooked, nice and fluffy. Give it a little bit of a taste test. Perfect. Okay, let's grab a couple of bowls. Okay, this can now come off the heat. Okay. So all I'm going to do is grab another serving spoon. Fill my bowls up with rice. So as I suspected, a little bit too much rice. There's another whole portion in there. So I was doing the scoops at 7, wasn't I? So I'd probably next time take it down to 6 or 5. You know, that'd be plenty. 11, 12 scoops of rice. So that won't go to waste. We'll use that in another dish tomorrow or something. So then on top of the rice, I'm just going to put stir fry mix. Oh. This is gonna make the missus salivate because she loves this meal, and myself. Woo! Okay. Here we go. One finished product. We've got rice at the bottom as a bed with the pork stir fry on top, Thai style, as we've got some soy sauce in there as well. So I am looking forward to this. This is going to go down a treat. All I'm going to do is add a bit of salt in just for an extra bit of flavour because I like a bit of salt. Yeah, good to go. I love that meal. I absolutely love that meal. That's one of my favourites. Thai pork stir fry. That is just, it hits a nail. Really, really nice. Please do try it. And if you do try it, take a picture of it and then send it to me, and I'll put it on the video. Or I won't necessarily tag you if you don't want to be named. You know, just send me a picture. I want to see people doing it. I want to see people and their finished products. I know people are telling me that they're doing them, so I need some proof. But no, I hope you enjoyed today. Mostly the apron because it's my body. And like I said, in a couple of days' time, we're going to do some prawn noodles. That would be a good one. But again, a big call to tag anyone or to tell anyone about this, about what I'm doing. I'm just a normal person. I'm a greenkeeper at a golf course, but while we're here self-isolating, I'm cooking, and something I love to do. And it's just simple, easy recipes. I mean, that's not hard what we've done today. It's just getting everything and knowing what to do with it. So that is it for today. Thank you so much once again for watching. Thank you to the wifey for this picture of my body on my body. I hope you enjoy that as well, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you very much.